Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a little life update because things have been quite chaotic at the moment, and this should be a delusional chaos update, but because I'm trying to make that a little bit more positive, I thought I will just give you a story time of all of the chaotic things that have been happening to me recently. So let me just start off with the fact that I left my long-term job of 4.5 years to leave to this new place. And I was really excited to start a new chapter. I had just really been there for so long that I knew that I had gotten everything out of that experience, and I just wanted something different. So I thought, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it, go for a new chapter, and hopefully this one will work out a lot better than previous jobs that I've had, because the reason why I stayed at the job that I was with for a long time was I made lots of nice friends there and I felt super supported and I enjoyed the job pretty much. It was just there were a few things which weren't ideal about it, like travel and just like other issues that I had whilst working there. But enough the ramble of context. I left my job and it was super emotional. I cried so many times and I just didn't think I was gonna cry because I just would miss everyone. Like, they were my support system every day of the week, I would mostly be there, and they just brought me so much love and so much joy, and I felt really grateful to have met such amazing people. And I was excited to try out this new journey because obviously it was a big change, and I had a little bit of time off in between, which I just spent hanging out with my friends. And then it came to me starting the new job. So in my new job, I'm going to briefly explain what was kind of expected of me, just so that you can kind of get a gist of it. But I would go in the morning, I would set up the tables and chairs, and it's quite a lot of heavy lifting for so early in the morning, but it's fine, I did it. New beginnings and all that. And then I had to cut up loads and loads of fruit, as in 3 massive punnets of strawberries. I had like pineapple, kiwis, like all these different fruits to cut up. And I have never prepped food before. Like, I cook for myself, but I'm not used to like quick paced making food, or like I haven't had any like training in food preparation other than like my food hygiene courses. So I wasn't prepared for that part of the role, and I was put on the coffee section, which I'm very confident in coffee sections. But because of my anxiety, in the beginning it takes me a little bit of time to just settle in and get used to my environment, and I need to like triple and double check things because I want to make sure I get it right, because I take pride in what I do and I want to get it right. So I always double check because I don't want to mess it up, because I just feel like that's going to be worse than if I just didn't ask and I just tried my best, because sometimes it could go really wrong. So I just always want to double check. And my first day was okay. It was a little bit scary being in a different environment, but I left my first day feeling pretty positive. Went in the next day and I was feeling quite anxious because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling the gel, like the instant like okay, like I feel fine here. I just kept on feeling anxious and I felt like I wasn't good enough, and that was obviously made apparent to me a little bit later on, but that's kind of ruining the story. I so I was just trying my best and just trying to like remind myself that it's a new job and I already struggle with a little bit of change. So I thought these are just all normal emotions. And another problem that I was having is I was having like really bad like stomach problems and like stomach pains with dairy, and I never have problems with dairy. Like dairy is the main thing that's in my diet and I've never had a problem with it. And then suddenly like my body was just like rejecting it, and that was making things worse because I was like kind of struggling already because of the big change and not feeling like I was welcomed into the team, and my whole nervous system was just like all over the place. And on the second day I kind of left feeling a bit like deflated because I just didn't feel like I was good enough, and I just thought I've left my previous job to come to here for like a nice new change, and this is just, it's not nice, it's not cute. So yeah, on the third day I didn't go in because I think my body was just really not doing well because I wasn't sleeping properly, I wasn't eating properly, my whole body was just like not there. And I think that was just to do with like the anxiety and the bad vibes of this place. But I went in the morning anyway because I had been sick in the morning because of my anxiety, and I think my body just like it was not right. And even in the moment, like you don't think it's anxiety, but when you look back you think, okay, like that's a possibility. And so I went in there and I was just really upset, and I just like, I didn't want to let them down, but I thought I'm gonna still go in and like speak to the manager, see what she says. And she said it was fine for me to go home. And I felt really guilty the whole day because I was just like, I do not feel well and I don't know why. And I really wanted to give this like a really good go, and I'm just really disappointed in myself. So I think I was just like putting things in my own head as well, which just made things like a lot worse. And then I went in for the next day, it was okay, but I did mention to my manager that I was struggling with like the food preparation in the morning because I'd never done it before, and I was just being honest because I am an honest person. And I also mentioned about my anxiety and my sertraline. And looking back, his attitude definitely did change towards me with that. And I'm obviously not going to say the name of who I went to work for or give any away any clues. Like if you know me in my personal life, you obviously know. But I'm not going to slander their business because I just don't think it's worth it. It's just a bit pointless. Like I wanted to share my experience. I don't really care about the company getting in trouble. I just want to talk about my experience, and yeah. So I noticed a change in him, but I just kind of push it away most of the time because it normally is my anxiety like picking up on these vibes, and I just think, no, it's just anxiety, like just push it away, it'll be fine, like you're just settling in. And I just still wasn't getting into the routine like as the week went on because I just didn't feel like I was good enough, and like that was because he was constantly checking up on me, telling me I needed to be faster, and I was fast. It was just I'm not used to the environment yet, and I hadn't had proper training in anything. I was just kind of thrown into things. And I'm normally quite good at handling situations like that, but I clearly wasn't up to his standard. But yeah, so I had like my 4 days, then I had a day off where I went back to my old work and I spent the whole day there at my old work. And I was just thinking, like, Obviously, I know I'm very comfortable with my old work, but the feeling of just being like supported and just like felt like whole again when I went back to my old job compared to like when I was going into my new job, like I didn't have that same like good feeling about it. But everyone at my old job encouraged me to just give it a shot, give it a go, and just, you know, hopefully it works out for the best. So that's what I did the next day. I went in with a whole new mindset. I felt less anxious because I had had my like little reset at work of like people that I felt supported by. And so I went in on that last day. I worked my ass off. Like it was a hard day, but I could see that I was getting better. Like I didn't have to look at sheets to remember like drink specs, and I could tell that I was learning, and I was really proud of myself. And at the end of the day, because I hadn't got my rota yet, I was supposed to speak to one of the managers who conveniently disappeared at the end. And the other manager was there and he sat me down for a meeting, and he basically said in the meeting how I didn't have the skill set for the job and I clearly had no food preparation experience, which I had told him, and he could see on my CV that I didn't. And he basically said that I had 6 weeks to find somewhere else, which is just a bit like, it was just mad to me because I hadn't even been employed with them for a week, and I'd left my like 4.5 year job to come and work for you, and you haven't even given me a chance, and you do not care that I've left my like very stable job to come work for you, and you're letting me go within the first week because you couldn't check that I was up to your standards. It was just like a whole crazy moment. And he said in the meeting that with my anxiety and the medication that I take, I wouldn't be suitable for the role, which is discrimination. And I was really pissed about it, but obviously, like, I'm just at a point now where I don't care about you having a problem with my anxiety. Like, it exists, it protects me, it's something that comes with me. I'm not gonna like hide or shame myself for having this mental illness because it just is a part of who I am and I can't change that. So you should have, you know, made it clear on the job role that you didn't want somebody with anxiety, even though most people do have anxiety. So I didn't get what the whole discrimination, and also why it was really relevant to bring up my mental health issues in the reasoning why he didn't want me to work there. The main problem with like him getting rid of me was the fact that he didn't want to give me any shifts up like during those 6 weeks, so I was basically guaranteed nothing because he had made me sign a 0 hour contract and then completely screwed me over in the end because he was meant to be getting me a new contract, but because I hadn't got that new contract yet and I had signed a 0 hour one, that meant that I basically wasn't guaranteed any shifts. So all of it was just like a big mess, well and truly. And I did tell him that I was going to come back, but after I left, like for the next 2 hours, like I just did not stop crying. And I think that was just because I was so disappointed in myself that I had left such a stable job to come and work for this company who didn't give me a chance, discriminated against me, just made me feel like this small, and I just hated it. It was just like such a horrible feeling. And then I weighed up my options of, do I go back? Do I just leave and find something else? Like, I just really didn't know what to do. I just felt so powerless, and I have like rent and stuff to pay for, and that was just all going through my mind. And I made the decision to try and go back to my other job. So I went back to my other job and sat down with my old manager, and I was like, I know it's only been like a week, but you know, would it be possible for me to come back? And unfortunately, I couldn't because they had already filled the role, which is just so heartbreaking because I really did love it there, and I loved like my friends and the whole, you know, I just loved my job there, my time there, and the support system. So it was a really big shame. But I did have to move on into a different chapter. So I was job searching for a couple of days. I got a couple of interviews, but the main one that I went to a couple days after I had basically been turned away from my old job is the one that I actually got within the same day. And I'm just so grateful that this new opportunity has come into my life because it was a really tough time for me. Because this time last year, I was going through the whole oil situation in my other house, and then this year, I'm having job struggles, and I suddenly was slightly like unemployed for a second, and I hate being in that instability. Like, I hate the whole instability of it all, and I didn't want to live on benefits, and I just wanted to carry on being my independent self because I've tried for so long, like for the 4.5 years, to be stable and to build up this kind of like stable money flow coming in, and I was worried about that ever stopping. So then I left for another job thinking that it was also going to be stable, and then because they were horrible, they completely screwed me over and I lost that stability. But luckily, I'm obviously in a place where I've got a new job coming and I haven't started it yet, but I, yeah, just had like such a strange month or so. I went from being really happy and excited and emotional when I actually left to like being really sad and like feelings of regret, to being happy, to then being really anxious because it wasn't right for me, to then being really sad because I got fired at the end of the week, to then being back to my usual self because I don't know what happened, but I just was not myself for the like time that I was working there. I just did not feel right, and I just didn't feel like myself, and I didn't want to speak to anyone. But now I'm back. She's back, and I hopefully will not have to go through anything ever like that again. But yeah, that is the end to like my little story, my little life update. But let me know in the comments what you would have done or any advice that you have for me moving forward. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you again for another video soon. Love you. Bye.